What's up, YouTube? We are back live with episode 19 of the Super Deformed Gamescast. I am your host, John, and with us we got the full house tonight. We got Brandon, we got the Rocket Squirrel JT is with us. Gabe the Brazilian is here. Jeff the Canadian is here. The calmest man in video games, Steve, is here with us, and we have a very special guest tonight, GB Doc Buford, but we're just going to call him Doc. He's at Forget Amnesia on Twitter. Doc, we are very, very happy you could join us tonight, brother.
Cool.
What up, Doc?
Somebody went there, huh? I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. So how's everybody doing tonight, fellas? How we doing? It's been a big week. It's been a busy week.
Fantastic.
There have been some things that I have witnessed this week. That's the only game I
feel a division in the podcast.
So there's
I haven't played the Division yet. I'm in on the beta, but not till it doesn't start till tomorrow on PS4.
I'm in on the beta too. I think we all are.
I got all three betas, so I was in the Xbox one today.
So we're actually going to be doing a live stream of the beta tomorrow night, and I know that I'll be there. Steve will be there. Jeff, did you get your code? Did you get your beta? So, dude,
I ordered from 3 vendors, and none of them sent me a code. I got Amazon, Best Buy, and GameStop.
So I think, dude, if you pre-order from the PSN, just pre-order, and you'll be able to download it and just cancel your pre-order.
Since when can you cancel digital pre-orders? Has that always been a thing?
I think so, right?
Through Amazon.
Or Amazon. That's what I meant. Amazon.
Yeah, don't do it on PSN. Do it on Amazon. I got my code from you had to just enter your email address, and they sent you a code. I found the link on NeoGAF. They're just like, type in your email address. We'll send you a code. And I got one.
I'll keep working at it.
So yeah, a bunch of us. Brandon, are you going to join us tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So all of us are going to be doing the Division tomorrow. Before we get into the news, I kind of want to just talk to Doc for a minute. Doc, you're a well-known guy on Twitter, and I know that you are a freelance games journalist. Could you, if you don't mind, just talk a little bit about kind of what you do? Because I know, and I don't know too much about it. I know that you also dabble in games design. And you also do some consulting. Yeah, could you talk about that just for a minute for people who are watching may not know you?
Okay. So I got my start being a really infamous commenter on Kotaku. Just horrible commenter. Eventually, I was able to do some freelance stuff. So I mostly write a sort of a column on how games work. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else. Then I got into game consulting. I have a degree in game design too, but it's a really crap degree. The department fell apart, all sorts of other stuff. So it's not I wouldn't call it a worthwhile degree to have. I'm getting a film degree right now. Consulting, I've worked with indie and AAA stuff, told people how to make their games better, basically. I helped do that.
That's what Jonathan Blow did before he made Braid, right?
Before he was pissing in bottles, man.
Gotta start somewhere.
I have no idea. I guess they liked my, most of my articles are like how games work. That's what I like. That's what I'm interested in. So
that's awesome.
I guess they noticed that and they were like, yeah, we think this guy would be a great fit. So I've helped with some stuff, but I'm NDA'd, so I can't tell you what I've worked on. As for game design stuff, I'm working on a co-op shooter that I'm being very cagey about because I don't want to make promises until I can show it to people. But
nice.
It's ideally six-person wave-based shooter with raid stuff coming sometime after it releases.
And first-person platforming, I'm sure.
Yeah, I want to have a full-blown first-person platforming raid just to annoy everyone who isn't me. I love first-person platforming because I'm a terrible person.
I'm enjoying reading your commentary on Twitter about it just late at night,
Yeah, no, it's actually quite entertaining. No, I remember playing what was it? What was that game? It was like Duke Nukem. It was the Duke Nukem shit that came out a few years ago. And it had those awful fucking platforming sections. God.
Oh yeah, there was some real garbage.
Well, I mean, there was a lot. I mean, from wall titties to fucking women getting raped by aliens, there was a lot wrong with that game. But man, those platforming sections, dude, my God.
Anyway, just in the first level, it had you controlling the little RC car around, which was just absolute disaster.
My most vivid memory of that game was picking up poo and throwing it. That's kind of the bottom. I mean, and it's kind of a metaphor for the game itself, in a way.
I actually really liked the being really tiny level. I think it was like the middle of the game. You got drunk.
Yeah.
That one was really fun. It was like this perfect paradise in a sea of crap.
It was like this gem in a sea of fucking bullshit. I know exactly what you're talking about, dude. Well, I'll tell you what, Doc, we're really happy that you could join us tonight, man. We're really happy. And kind of what we do here is we're going to talk about what we're playing this week. Go through the news. Nobody fucking knows. Nobody cares. Sometimes we talk about video games. Sometimes we talk about Jeff. It's all good, man. It's all great. Most of the time we just talk about Jeff.
No one cares.
Tonight we're actually going to talk about emo stuff. So this is going to be the super depressed emo cast tonight, where we talk about how much our fathers hated us. But in all seriousness, I kind of want to talk about one of the two really big pieces of news that happened this week, at least in my opinion. And so I guess the big one was the merging of two Sony entities into one kind of umbrella for PlayStation to fall under, and it's called I think it was Sony. It was Sony Computer Entertainment and one other. I had it right here.
It was Sony Computer Entertainment and Sony Network Entertainment, or Sony Entertainment Network.
Yeah, something like that. But thanks, Jeff. But the two of them have now merged into what's called SIE, or Sony Interactive Entertainment, which is headed up by Sean Layden. Shuhei Yoshida, from what I'm able to tell, is actually holding on to his position as head of Worldwide Studios. But the whole thing is kind of based in the United States now. And I wanted to kind of get your thoughts, everybody, on what you think of this and why. In my opinion, real quick, I don't think anybody should be surprised by this. I mean, look at the state of gaming in Japan. I mean, consoles, I don't want to say they're dead, but they're not the force over there they used to be. And I mean, when you compare that to the American market for consoles, I mean, it makes, in my opinion, something like this makes sense. Kind of making one home for PlayStation in what is probably, arguably anyway, the most important market for consoles in the world. So I'll throw it out to the group. I want to see what you guys think about it.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Seems like it's done in anticipation of their VR market, and they may see it as a huge opportunity here, and the move might be indicative of that. The name seems to suggest it.
Did we lose Steve?
Did we lose Steve?
Am I not there?
Oh, there he is. Okay, there you are. Oh, you just stopped talking abruptly, dude. Like, that was the most abrupt full stop I've ever heard in my life.
I must have
really happened is we only give him 10 seconds at a time to talk, so he had to get it all out. And then
Steve
I'm going to end every statement with discuss.
That was fucking weird, dude. Okay, so I've actually got the hold on. So where was the I had the story open here. Yep, here it is. Okay, so so Andrew House said that it will become an even stronger entity with a clear objective to further accelerate the growth of the PlayStation business by integrating the strengths of PlayStation's hardware, software, content, and network operations. Along with our business partners, SIE will develop pioneering services. So basically, I mean, in a nutshell, it sounds like it's not just the PlayStation 4. Anything that falls under the PlayStation brand, be it the PSN or PlayStation View is mentioned, PS Now, PSVR, everything is falling under one umbrella. There's a lot of hullabaloo on social media, not so much in the games journalism side, but a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, this is really bad. It's indicative of the state of Sony's kind of financial, holdings." But I disagree. I mean, Sony's one of those things for PlayStation, or PlayStation is one of those things for Sony that's really kind of driving the company forward. And in my opinion, a move like this makes sense, considering that, I mean, they're making more money off the PlayStation division than they are almost anything else aside from imagery. So it makes sense to kind of promote a brand and consolidate a brand that is really kind of one of the driving forces behind your company. I don't know. That's just me.
I think I remember reading somewhere whenever this news came out that this will really help with like the software side of things, because previously they would just push everything off to the Japan studio to do the PS4 and Vita software updates. And now that everything is kind of solidified under one big bubble, things will get better on that front. Like their mobile app, everything was very Japanized. I don't know. I don't know where I remember seeing this, but they said that things would be a lot more unified now. Like the app would actually support iPhone 6 natively and stuff like that, and the software updates would get a lot quicker and more responsive. So I could totally see that. More unity is better, in my opinion.
Seeing as how Doc is actually he's involved with kind of the games journalism side of the industry. Doc, I was kind of hoping to get your take on this. What do you think about this?
I was legitimately surprised that they weren't already connected. Like I was like, wait, they haven't consolidated? It's like but then again, I think it's kind of a big clusterfuck to begin with because they their CDN is horrible. I mean, just downloading anything on my PlayStation is always slower than my other stuff, and I'm hoping that this consolidation actually fixes things, because I personally assumed that all the PlayStation stuff was already together. So hearing that it wasn't, I was like, oh well, that's a completely natural move. I hope it improves things.
Hey, Doc, I want to point out that LE Ninja 22 in chat says that your voice is so cute.
Great.
You really do have a cute voice, man. It's very soothing.
I'm glad someone said it.
I know, right? Yeah, I wanted to say it, but I didn't want to come off as weird.
I would pay for a DLC pack of your voice as a announcer.
I am going to start a Kickstarter and maybe like a petition on Change.org to get you to replace Nolan North as the ghost in Destiny. When I'm playing Destiny, I want to hear that.
Yeah. All right, yeah.
I want to hear nothing but your voice coming out of that robot, man.
At least get him a Dead or Alive DLC.
Yeah. All right, what else happened this week? Okay, so this is something else interesting that happened. So apparently, Ubisoft this year was it Ubisoft or EA? EA. I'm sorry, EA. EA is going to have their own booth, or not their own booth, their own event for E3 this year. They're kind of skipping E3 entirely, and they're doing the same thing that Bethesda and Square Enix did last year, and Nintendo for that matter, kind of splitting apart from E3 and doing their own thing, revealing their own games on their own time. I thought that this was very interesting, and I want to kind of ask the group and everybody in chat as well. Thank you very much for the shout out. He says Brandon is cool with a K. Twisted Eva says Brandon, you're cool with a K, dude. So nice job. That just kind of popped up. So I wanted to ask you guys. Does this? So I mean, this seems to become a recurring trend, and does this kind of is this leading up to the marginalization of E3 as a yearly event? Do you guys think we can expect to see more of these kind of things happen in the future on an annual basis? Because it was a huge success for Bethesda last year. I mean, let's be honest.
I don't know if they can do it every year. I think it's just sometimes like for Bethesda when the stars align and you have a few different things to show off, like they had Doom and Fallout. It's just nice for them to kind of have all that attention for themselves rather than split it up at a conference. But I mean, EA, what are they going to show off? They got, there's a new Battlefield I think coming. We can assume because Battlefield 4 is pretty old now.
I would imagine so.
And then they got Mass Effect. Like they could have 3 or 4 big games to show off and showcase, and it just makes sense to put that all under one. But I don't know. They can't do that every year, right?
Well, I don't know. That's kind of the big question. I mean,
I'd say if anybody could do it every year, it would be EA because they always have something.
Remember that one year where they didn't show anything? They showed like a weird prototype of Mirror's Edge and.
Yeah, what year was that? I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was year before last, 2014. They showed that SSX prototype thing too. That was like
right.
It wasn't SSX, but it was like by that team, but it was like more sports or something. I don't know. But did anyone catch that they're going to reveal Titanfall 2 next month? I saw.
Yeah. Wait, no, I missed that.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people mentioning it earlier. It was just like.
On the earnings calls.
Yeah.
Really? So, is there any? I mean, I guess we all kind of know that that's going to be multi-platform this time around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But probably still not on Steam. It's still going to be ordered.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Honestly, that doesn't surprise me. They're probably. I mean, if you look at sales for like Battlefront on Steam, by the way, I mean they pale in comparison to what it's selling on console. So that's not really that much of a surprise to me. But I tend to agree with Jeff, and I want to get Steve's thoughts on this after I'm done talking. But I kind of agree with Jeff in the sense that this, a lot of people have said, hey, will this lead to E3's kind of dismantling as a whole? And I think one day, like something like Gamescom, I could see like something like Gamescom superseding E3 in importance because it's bigger than E3 and more people attend. But it's not like every company can do this every year. I mean, Bethesda did it last year because they had fucking Fallout 4 releasing that fall. I mean, that's a big deal. Stuff like Dishonored 2 is just icing on the cake. So I don't
I mean,
I
like
don't know.
Rockstar has never given a shit about E3 ever.
No, but I mean,
Like, ever.
well, yo, that's
When
true.
have they ever
Yeah.
shown, like, yeah, like they just fuck E3. We're Rockstar. We do whatever we want. And yeah, like they've always been kind of a model for that.
That's a good point.
For as long as they've been around.
I just want to point out to Bloodborne in chat here. By the way, that's an excellent name, but we will never have Crap Gamer on our podcast ever. And that's the last time I'm going to mention him tonight. It's not going to happen. But I know that was a joke, but still, I want to kind of throw that out there. Okay, Steve, what do you think about this dude? I'm sure you've probably got a very, very intelligent sounding opinion on this.
No, I don't. I can agree with JT, but that's about it. I look at it and I say, well, they have a few titles that kind of get overshadowed at E3. Like nobody has a lot of interest in NBA Live, it seems, or at least the sales suggest that. So maybe splitting off gives them a chance to revitalize something like that. There could be a lot of motivations for it. Maybe they have something important to show. I don't know. But we'll see if it's a strategy they pursue after this year.
You know, I think, we talked about Rocksteady just a minute ago. I think
Rockstar.
Rocksteady, Jesus
Rocksteady
Christ.
loves E3. Yeah,
yeah.
Batman all day.
Oh, no, I'm thinking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which we're going to get to in a minute.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
But so Rockstar, so here's my prediction. If they announce that they're going to do their own kind of deal this year, you can guarantee that Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to get announced. That will be announced because that is something that you hold an event for, in my opinion. A lot of people will wait.
Is that John's bold prediction for 2016?
That is John's prediction for 2016. Other than the fact that I'm going to get even better looking, is the fact that I think Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out this fall.
No,
I think it's
nope. It gets revealed. It gets revealed this year.
Hey, you know what? Hey, listen up. Last year I said that Fallout 4 was going to be announced and released in the same year, and what happened?
Yeah, but there was rumors about Fallout 4 for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was still right, though. I was still right. I was still right.
All right. Yeah, you were right.
And you assholes didn't believe me. So I will. That's the only victory I've ever had on this podcast, and God damn it, I'm gonna fucking own it. So,
I will say we get GTA 5 story DLC this year, and then Red Dead next year.
You're fucking crazy. They're not making story DLC.
I thought they would.
I think they will.
I'll be honest with you.
Online content only, and that's it.
I'll be honest with you. I am stunned we haven't got any story DLC for GTA 5. I'm legit shocked at that.
Have you seen how much money they're making from fucking shark cards and all this?
But imagine how much money they would. Imagine how much more money they would make with like just like a fucking 2-hour story pack. I mean, people
not as much as they would make by just adding more content to GTA Online.
You'd buy it.
Yeah, I would, but
I know you would.
Like GTA
Everyone would buy it.
It's not the money-making base that they have now.
Yeah, no one's gonna. I don't see it happening. I would like to have story DLC for GTA 5 because it's the first GTA I actually really liked, but I really don't see that happening because the shark cards. They were the
People who are running around online
Weren't they the 10th biggest game last year?
What was it? What was it, Doc?
Weren't they the 10th biggest game last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like PC earnings.
I mean, GTA 5 came out fall 2013. It is still.
Yeah.
I mean I mean, aside from Minecraft, I've never heard of anything like that before.
That wasn't like an MMO specifically. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just
because GTA is not even like a service-based game. It's just fucking $60. That's it.
I mean, it's just imagine what GTA 6 is going to do, because we all know it's going to come sooner or later. We'll be playing.
It's going to be
2018.
on itself.
Yeah.
2018. That's
we'll be playing
more like 2024.
No, because GTA's when did GTA 4 come out?
2008.
2008, and we played it in 2013. So 2018.
Games
2018. Calling it now.
Games take longer to make now than they did before. Plus, they've spent more time on GTA Online than they did with anything about GTA 4.
Yeah, you guys are gonna be laughing when I'm right about Red Dead
Redemption 2. You're not even close. You're not even close.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying,
it's
man.
completely outside the realm of like even remote possibility.
When I'm right about these two dudes, or when I'm you guys can be fucking eating that crow, man.
Tell them your game of the year.
I would love for you to be right.
I know I'm right, dude. It's not even a question, man. I got the inside track. Not really though. But okay, so something else I want to talk about, and we just touched on this with Rocksteady here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem was leaked last week, but now it has been officially revealed. The story here from GameSpot, it says, following numerous leaks, Activision has officially revealed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutants in Manhattan. The first trailer for the game, which looks fucking sick, by the way, if you haven't seen
That trailer was sweet. I love that.
which is being developed by Bayonetta, Wonderful 101, and Transformers Devastation Studio Platinum Games, is action-packed. It's action-packed, and literally.
I would hope it would be.
Classic TMNT character. Yeah, I know, right? Like, I don't want a game about the turtles just sitting around talking.
Yeah, no shit.
You know, like, that shit.
Getting sage lessons from Master Splinter. That's
I love these.
With dialogue. Telltale.
Turtles Adventure. Yeah. Leonardo will remember this. Shredder will remember this. Yeah. Shredder is not pleased with your decision.
I feel like they've boxed themselves in with like mutants in Manhattan. Like, do they have to move for the next game? Like, are they going to be
probably?
Like, are they going to be in California next time? Or
nah, they'll just be.
Wait, that was yeah. Well, they did have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project.
That's old school, though, dude.
Yeah, that was the third NES game.
That's old school. No, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, I saw the video for the game. The game looks fucking outstanding, and I love Platinum Games stuff. The only thing that surprised me is that it's a cross-gen title. Apparently, this game will be available on Xbox 360. And
so is Transformers. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I know, but I really want to see what Platinum Games can do with current gen technology, not held back by the 7th generation. This kind of frustrates me.
Scalebound, I guess, is the first game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but we're not going to see that this year, though, right?
No, yeah, but I'm just saying that'll be the first Platinum Games. That's not like cross-gen development. Yeah.
You know, there was a rumor going around for a long time that the devs who made the Arkham games, the Batman games, were working on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, and that would have been like. I love the fact that Platinum Games is doing something like this, but man, can you imagine if those guys over at Warner Brothers had gotten out?
That could be really cool. Yeah, that could have been really cool.
That could have been like switching back and forth between the Turtles and running around Manhattan, and oh man, that would have been fucking cool. Does anybody know if this game has 4-player co-op? Because I would fucking love that.
It's online co-op. I don't know. It might not be local co-op.
That would be such an awesome callback to like the old school side-scrolling beat 'em up games.
Turtles in Time.
Yeah. Oh god, I fucking love those games, dude. Those are amazing. But yeah, so that's been officially revealed. Of course, we all know that The Witness came out this week, which is amazing. By the way, we'll talk about that. The game itself in depth here a little later, but what I wanted to talk about is that apparently some people are actually getting severe motion sickness playing the game. This was kind of talked about by several websites today, including Kotaku and GameSpot. People are getting, and it was also on NeoGAF, that's actually where the story started, was a poster on GAF, but I read the original post, but apparently people are playing the game and they are getting so motion sick by what's happening that they actually they have to turn it off. They can't play it.
What was causing it? Do you know?
So Jonathan Plo, but Z Huge says this podcast sucks. What's up, man? We're glad you're in the chat, dude.
Fucking Z Huge.
But you're right.
We're going back and editing you out from the last podcast.
Just send him an invite and have him change his mind.
The field of view on The Witness is fucking pretty low.
Z Huge only says it sucks because he's not on it right now. But yeah, so yes, people are getting seasick or motion sickness playing The Witness. Apparently, so Jonathan Blow was kind of touching on this today on Twitter a little bit. Apparently, it's a combination of just the way the game moves and the vivid colors, and it's making some people sick, which is really weird because I've been playing it nonstop since it came out, and I don't see anything in the game that would cause it to actually induce something like motion sickness.
Yeah, no, like the frame rate is smooth. The field of view is pretty fucking low. It's like
that's the first thing that I noticed too.
It's like standard first-person shooter FOV though. It's like 65 or whatever, you know.
Maybe it's just that 900p.
It's yeah. It's the 900.
Can you adjust the FOV on like PC? Can you adjust the FOV at all?
Oh, on PC maybe. There's
on
no
PC maybe, but
PS4.
Yeah, no. There's
the PS4 lets you change the brightness, put on subtitles, and that's.
Well, it's all I settings that you have to change, right? On the PC.
Isn't some of the game designed for a certain field of view though? Like, doesn't that kind of fuck with some of the puzzles?
Yeah, it does.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's
like perspective.
So, Doc, I guess you're kind of the person to ask about this. Is that something that is easily fixed with a patch on consoles, or is that kind of a deeper problem that's kind of tougher to find a workaround for?
Well, I mean, if it's an FOV, it kind of depends on how they're setting up the graphics. Like some developers are actually using a narrow FOV because it means they can render less stuff. But other times they're doing it just because that's what's more comfortable at a proper TV like distance from the eyeball.
Okay.
So it's possible they're patching an FOV, but if it's attached to some of the puzzles, then they might not do it. It could really vary. I think if you have a reticle in the middle of the screen, that would help a lot. I heard that the game doesn't have one.
No, there's no UI or HUD whatsoever, except unless you press a button. If you press a button to go into the puzzle interface, then it brings it up.
Okay, it's possible that having a little dot in the middle of the screen would actually help center some players, but that's...
Yeah, even just like a toggle option, like a checkbox toggle in the options menu would be good.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Shanio Machiavelli in chat who says, I'm just waiting for the shirts off edition of this podcast.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you this much. None of us are wearing pants right now. I got stance pants.
Jeans on, I promise.
Gabriel back there, quiet-ass Gabriel, has been just waiting to slowly stand up from his chair.
He does it
and turn around and start bending over. No, Gabe, stay down, man. Stay down. Don't put us on the shame, dude. Come on. You're going to embarrass me. But I will tell you that. Oh, and by the way, on my Weya in chat says Brandon is beautiful. Brandon, you're a handsome man.
You're beautiful.
I agree. Brandon is kind of like the White Goodman of this podcast. His hair is feathered and lethal.
Who?
White Goodman, dude. White Goodman. Dodgeball. Only you're smarter. You're smarter than White Goodman. Okay.
Wait, which character was White Goodman? Oh, fucking.
Yeah, Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller, dude. The Fu Manchu. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right, so
great. That's a fucking great movie, by the way.
I can't believe we're getting a Zoolander too, by the way, dude. I really fucking hope that's
Zoolander was never my thing, but I
love Zoolander, dude. All right, so
fucking Steve the Pirate. That movie was so great. Vince Vaughn is. I love every Vince Vaughn movie.
I'll make a bargain with you. Choose the North Star. I fucking love that movie, dude. All right, this fucking video game talk we got going on here on the Super Deformed Gamescast. Destiny 2, excuse me, not launching September 2016, according to a report from GameSpot. Although Destiny 2 was forecasted to launch in September 2016, it will no longer meet this window and will be released later than initially expected, a report has claimed. While the sequel has not been officially confirmed by developer Bungie or publisher Activision, court documents published in September 2015 laid out the roadmap for the sci-fi shooter franchise. And then the release schedule indicated a new entry in the series would be launched in September 2016, but this is no longer the case according to Kotaku. They were the ones who originally broke the story. There's also been a lot of talk in the Destiny community about people's dissatisfaction with kind of the direction the game has taken. And I completely understand. I mean, the Taken King was a huge breath of fresh air. But since then, we've had that, there's like a Valentine's event coming up. You had that racing thing which lasted a couple of weeks, which is okay. And there was there was like a Halloween event where you could get like stupid masks and put them on, and they didn't do anything except lower your defense.
Yeah, I wasted a lot of time on
that. I wonder, like, it is very clear to me that Bungie does not have a coherent plan for Destiny's future. And with the news they had released earlier that we're going to stop doing big paid DLC expansions in 2016 and focus on smaller events.
What happened to the 10-year plan, man?
I don't know. Like
the 10-year plan. They had it all laid out. What happened? The roadmap. Whatever.
Yeah.
So let the stars guide them.
So
they aren't fatalists. They don't have it decided just yet.
I think a big part of the problem was there was that article that mentioned their tool set or their engine. And it just sounded like it's a nightmare to make anything new. So I can't imagine it's easy to crank out content regularly when it takes like 18 hours or something to load up their editor.
I fucked up with that.
Yeah. Well, so all right. Here's the thing. Like I think a lot of this is due to hubris. I think Bungie. I mean, if you look at the state that Destiny launched in, man, it is very clear that Bungie said, you know what, we did Halo. We can do an MMO online shooter, first-person shooter. We got this. Don't worry about it. And this was back in the day when the fucking Cryptarch was decoding purples into blues and fucking exotics into purples. And
the good old days.
Back in the day, that vanilla Destiny for us Destiny veterans who were there on day one. I remember playing the beta
2 years ago.
2 years ago, man.
Wait, a fucking year.
I remember when I played the beta, and I was like, man, this is cool. And then they were like, yeah, you just played 10% of the game, and I was like,
it was like 25%.
Was it more than that? I was like, wait, hold on, what the fuck are you talking about? and this is coming from somebody who I mean, I love Borderlands 2. It's one of my favorite games, maybe my favorite game from last gen. So I was really let down by that. The Taken King kind of wronged or righted a lot of the wrongs that Destiny had done. And it's a better game now, but it's also quite obvious to me that they don't have a plan for the game's future. And that combined with the fact that the Division is getting some positive press is. I don't know. I worry about the state of the game. I worry about the future of the game.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck Destiny. I want to hear Flunky talk about the Division, baby.
So actually, you know what? I think that is a perfect segue into the Squirrel giving us the skinny on what he thinks of the Division beta so far. So without further ado.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm excited to play with you guys tomorrow. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Because that was kind of the one thing that I was missing. I'll get to that, but it was the overall like teaming up aspect. It was kind of elusive to me, but anyways, we've talked about this game probably a lot. Probably one of the most talked about games the past couple weeks. So I wanted to like it, and I've been cautiously optimistic about it. But my first impression was I didn't like it. And it was due to mostly the really stiff controls. It felt like there was some disconnect between my inputs and what was happening on screen. If I was trying to get away from enemies, it was really hard to trust the controls to do what I wanted to do. Like traversing around cover and over cover, and it was just really frustrating because I had it on hard mode just because. The enemies seemed really bullet spongy at first, and I know that's a big negative that I've been hearing about the game, but I mean it really is true. So I turned up the difficulty just to see if that affected anything, and it actually made it worse. It just turned them more bullet spongy, and it became more frustrating with the controls.
Do you get better loot at higher difficulty?
So that's actually the turning point for me. That's when I started to enjoy it a little bit more because that. Helps the enemies become less bullet spongy. You kill them faster, so it feels better. And I kind of learned the systems. I learned the quirks of the controls. So having better loot, absolutely, because not only does it feed that your RPG loot addiction, it gives you better tools to disperse the enemies accordingly. So that made me feel a little bit better, and I started liking the game like 2 hours in. When I had a good, grip for my gun, and I think I put like a silencer and a laser on it, and it was just a starting gun that they gave you, but it was already so much better than what I had just starting out in like the tutorial levels and the opening, I guess the only story mission. But it was good. Like the cover system is a big gripe of mine though. It's like there's this boss at the end of the story mission that is very spongy, also because I had it on hard, and it seemed to me that shooting at him from cover was kind of counterintuitive, and for a cover-based third-person shooter, you kind of want to have your cover system work, but to me it seemed way easier to just kind of be aiming and peek out in cover and then come back whenever he's shooting at you and then peek out instead of actually being in cover and then pressing the aim button, looking at him, and firing. So that says a lot to me about like the mechanics in itself. That it's more effective to just peek around corners than it is to actually use the cover system that's in place. So I kind of worry about that a little bit. That was one of the things that put me off about it a little bit.
JT, I don't want to interrupt you, but we've got a question from chat for you.
Yeah.
Rowaha asks, do enemies get repetitive?
They're repetitive in the sense that they are all,
like
at
people?
least from what I've seen, yeah, there's no real variation, and I did see one other enemy type other than the boss that was just he was basically just he had a power-up kind of like, you have your skills that are set to the shoulder buttons, and one is you can ping out to find enemies. It'll ping and say like, oh, 4 enemies found. Another one is like you bring up a shield, and another one's like a sticky bomb. So enemies, like the bosses, I guess, they have their own special abilities, and you can see it like loading up before they actually use it. And this boss's was he fired his light machine gun a lot. But the enemy variation I could see getting mundane. But there's flamethrower guys. I know that Doc will be happy about that. I did run into
their ladders.
Yeah. But yeah, I could see it getting a little bit mundane on the enemy aspect of it. Sure. But everything still feels bullet spongy until you upgrade your gun. And then you start getting, because my big gripe was, I just headshotted this guy, so you'd expect the guy to drop.
Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you, JT, was the fact that I was watching a playthrough today on Twitter, and the guy was in the dark zone, which is the PvP zone.
Yes.
And the dark zone, and he literally, he ran up to this dude, and this man took I counted them, 8 shotgun blasts to the fucking eyes, and he turned around and dashed off, and I was like, I understand it's an RPG. I understand it's similar to Borderlands 2, and nobody complained about that. But it's still, I'm still excited, but it was a little immersion breaking for me.
Yeah, it is different because in Borderlands 2 and Destiny, even, for example, you can headshot guys and have it be like a critical hit without expecting them to die right away because they're like aliens or, different people that are not humans. So that's reasonable to expect. But since you're shooting at all humans in the Division, it's kind of odd to headshot somebody a couple times and them not die. And that's just, it's not anything that is wrong with the game fundamentally. It's just the premise. It's the setup. You're not going to have super mutant aliens in their setting that they have set up.
Although, you know what, JT, honestly, I know the game is set around some kind of virus or some kind of pandemic. I'm surprised they didn't go with, infected running at you or something like that. Or
it's a Tom Clancy game.
I don't know.
Yeah. What was that? What was that, Doc?
It's a Tom Clancy game. They wouldn't necessarily do that because.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's another thing. Yeah, it's a fucking Tom Clancy game where headshots don't kill people. Are you fucking? That was the number one thing about the original Rainbow Six. Was
that's the craziest thing to be there. Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It's fine that the Division is an RPG, but why did they even go Tom Clancy with it? Jesus.
Coming right off of Rainbow Six Siege, I've been playing a lot of that, and it's a totally, completely different game. Rainbow Six is headshot, boom, instant. And you die within less than a second. In Division, it's a totally different scenario.
Maybe just for some people like myself that aren't too familiar with the game, what's the setup? Is there a hub? How do you access the missions? Because in Destiny, you kind of jump from the tower, right, and you go on your ship.
Yes.
I'm just not really.
You do kind of have a hub. You have it's revealed to you in the tutorial that you have a home base, and there's different wings that they're called, and which essentially tie into your power-ups, your abilities, your bumper skills, and if you upgrade those certain parts of your base, then you get more skills and more passive abilities and whatnot. So that's kind of there is a hub location. However, it's not like you take off from there and go to a different planet. It's all tied in with you can walk to the hub from a mission that you just finished, or the Dark Zone, or whatever you want.
When you get to the hub, are there other players running around and shit?
Whenever I first got into the game, the tutorial mode, there was, but then I didn't see any in the hub. The hub is your own instant little segmented area because you're upgrading that separately from everything else. Every player is going to have their own hub.
Real quick.
Well, I mean, after you go out of the hub, there's a little decontamination area, so it slows you down, and it's okay, you're transitioning out into the real world now. And that's when I think you may run into. I know definitely. I saw one of my friends that was also online. I could pull up the map, I could see his location, and then team up with him if I wanted to, and it would update in real time. I saw him running down the street, so I tried to go run and meet with him, but he disappeared. I think he got offline or something. But the Dark Zone is the primary area that you're going to run into people, and I didn't spend a whole lot of time with that, but that was the main thing that I was confused about, so it might be better to save that for whenever we all have a chance to sit down and play together tomorrow.
Okay. We can talk about that on next week's podcast.
It's kind of confusing at first how everything works. There's like extractions and contaminated zones and a different experience bar for the dark zone than there is the main game. It's just a lot to take in.
A different experience bar, like different level, like you have a dark level and like a normal level.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That sounds like some light level Destiny shit.
That's like some Destiny shit. Yeah, but different, but similar.
Hold on, Gabe. What was
that? Yeah, that's it.
What was that, Gabe?
No, just saying. There seems to be a currency for the Dark Zone, specifically an experience that you get only on the Dark Zone 2. I didn't play a lot of it, but it seems like that. There's some special loot that you only get on the Dark Zone, and you need to get. I don't remember the Dark Points. Was it? What was the name? DP?
Is it DP?
Is it DP? Please tell me. Please tell me.
No, it's not. It's not. That's the name.
Let it be DP.
It's not DP.
Jesus Christ.
Gabe had a rough experience with this game.
Can you imagine yelling out to your wife, your girlfriend, like, "Honey, you're late for dinner. Hold on, I'm trying to get more DP." Holy shit. Okay. I actually had a question about that for JT.
It's a real missed opportunity, I think.
Please patch that in.
Not too late. That's why it's a beta, right?
GP. Do you think? Fuck. God damn it. Okay. All right. Do you think that headshots are something that can be patched in? I'm done.
Take a break.
This is a podcast for 12-year-olds.
Oh shit! I don't know why that was so funny to me, but it was.
To answer your question, I think we'll talk less about the bullet sponging as people upgrade their stuff. There's a lot of different stuff that you can upgrade. You can get different color. It's all a loot system. It's your typical Diablo style colored loot system. So you can have different rarities for guns, and then also the attachment that you put on, your backpack, your armor, everything. And then you have, there's also things that drop that are just appearance. So you could kill a guy and instead of dropping a loot item, it will drop a different set of shoes or a new hat for you to wear.
Do the shoes and hats? Do those have stats, or are they like more like Destiny shaders?
No, they're kind of like a shader.
Okay.
But they do. They're nice because they are distinctive enough to where everybody looks different.
Would you say they're iconic?
Do what?
If you sell me merchandise.
I have not seen anything.
Well, I want to go into my local Hot Topic and buy this shit for real.
Wow.
But I don't know. I hope the bullet spongy thing is something that we talk about less and less, because as it went on, I did start to enjoy it more than whenever I first started.
So it's like the bullet spongy thing will be something that bothers you maybe for like your first 2 days of playing it, and then once
I think it's more of you have to get acclimated to how the game works first. But it's just like I said earlier, it's hard to adjust whenever you're shooting at human enemies. I think.
Well, there's a leveling system. From what
There's
it looks like. Yeah, so if you want the levels to matter, they have to be tough out the gate. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, and we haven't seen anything indicating any kind of end game, like for example, raid content outside of the Dark Zone, right? Like, unless I missed something.
There's not going to be any.
Yeah. So I have one more question for JT actually. So you said that you fought a boss, right?
Yes.
What were the mechanics? Because like Destiny, I mean, it has its flaws, but some of the boss fights, especially the Taken King, have some really interesting mechanics. Some really cool boss mechanics during the fight. Did you experience anything like that in the beta, or was it more just crouch and shoot and crouch and shoot?
Well, the thing I talked about earlier, how I peeked around instead of using the cover system, that's what I had to use on him because I was dying, especially since I was on hard mode. He hit pretty hard on hard, but yeah, he was just a beefier, bigger, standard enemy grunt who also had a skill that made him fire longer. It was not anything spectacular. It wasn't, orcs, kind of cool, battle, everything.
No wizard from the moon.
No wizard from the moon shit?
Not yet. Nope.
Is there like a magic equivalent in the game, like something that acts as like a special skill? Like okay, I've got a flamethrower.
In this Tom Clancy game.
Yeah, I think so. There's 3 skill slots, and there's 2 on each bumper, and then the third one I think is locked out for the beta. So I don't
remember when Jack Ryan shot that Kamehameha out of his face.
Okay, look. I just want to point out that Tom Clancy has about as much to do with the fucking Division as Mortal Kombat has to do with Rocket League. Okay?
Yeah, I'm wondering when they're going to stop using his name. He's probably rolling in his grave.
Yeah. Tom Clancy's like, what? Yeah, from Beyond the Grave. He's like, why the fuck have you done this to my legacy? Chris Reyes and Chad, do they have a season pass? I guarantee you they will.
I guarantee there will be.
There's no way. There's no way this game doesn't get a season pass. It's Ubisoft.
JT, you're gonna hate this question. Are there microtransactions or any inclination that there might be?
They've already said there's going to be, right?
Have you seen it on the beta menus?
I haven't really seen any, no, which I didn't really think about until you brought it up, but I'm sure I'm just missing it.
There probably won't be.
It seems like,
and then they'll patch him in like a month later.
I want to ask Doc. Doc, are you? Did you say that you had pre-ordered the Division, or were you planning on it? Are you gonna try the beta?
I am gonna try the beta. I've got it already preloaded and everything. There is a season pass, by the way, but it looks like the only way you can get it right now is to buy the gold edition, which is $40 more than the regular edition.
Jesus!
Shit!
The season pass is $40. This is I'm spending all my co-op time on Warframe lately. I have 90 hours in the past 2 weeks.
Man, that's like some Battlefront shit right there.
I've heard good things
just saw you tweet out Warframe in all caps.
I used to hate it. Like I played it like really shortly after release and did not like it. And in the past couple of weeks, it's become my go-to co-op game.
Really? I played it when it launched years ago.
Yeah, I played it like 3 years ago.
And I heard it's totally different.
Is it really?
It's just radically different. I mean, now you can like disincorporate and shoot a laser out of your chest at people.
Well, yeah, of course.
There are so many different Warframes. I'm just running around with Frost lately, just pressing the 4 button and killing everything on the battlefield. Which is
Are there more varied environments now? Yeah, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, there's I have a friend who came back. He played more than I did, and so when we both came back, like he was like, "Wow, this tile set wasn't here, and this tile set wasn't here. Oh, this is a new tile set." There's like way more different kinds of endgame content. There's 2 raids. There's something called sorties, which goes up to like 70 levels higher than the players.
I can't believe how successful this has been for the developers of that game.
They just keep adding stuff. I mean,
like it's the same developers that made that fucking Dark. What the fuck?
They made the Darkness 2.
No, yeah, they made the Darkness 2, and then before that, what did they make before that? It was
it was Dark Void.
Was it Dark Void?
No.
It was the Gears of War one.
Like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
With the glaive. What was that game called?
Dark Sector.
Dark Sector. That's it.
Fun fact, that is the prequel to this game.
Oh, we lost Gabe.
That was a great game. I loved Dark Sector.
Dark Sector was decent.
If you watch the alpha footage of Dark Sector, it actually looks just like Warframe.
Yeah.
How many people actually play Warframe now? Do we know what the average player count is, like on a weekly basis, or?
That is a good question. I'm curious now. I'm looking at Steam charts. They have the last 30 days. The peak is 46,000.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, I mean, for a game that's like what 3 years old now, that's almost 3 years old. That's not bad. Not bad
that's
at
just
all.
On Steam. It's probably doing pretty well on PS4 and Xbox One too.
Shit, maybe I need to jump back into Warframe, man. There's so many fucking games coming out, though. I mean, God, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna play. I do have one more question for I guess just JT. I was gonna ask Gabe as well, but he's gone. Internet must have crapped out.
He had to go get those DP.
He had to get DP. He had to go put his pants back on. His pants have been off the entire time. So you were the only one who has played it amongst the group here, and of course we're all going to get into it together tomorrow. But do you think that this has the potential to at least pose some kind of a rivalry to Destiny? Do you think this game will have legs? That may be a tough call based on what you've played, but I don't.
It is a tough call.
But I don't know. Is it just really a tell in your opinion?
The beta doesn't really give you much. I played for an hour and I got through basically all the content that it gives you outside of like the side quests that you have to find just roaming around the city. They just like kind of pop up and they're like, oh, save this hostage that these guys, the 4 guys are holding. So by that time I was leveled up enough to where, like I said, the enemies were just really easy. It was just like a full clip of my gun, just pop, 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 and then, move on to the next guy. And then, it's really simple stuff, but that it made it around 2 hours where I got to see pretty much everything that the beta has to offer outside of the Dark Zone.
Well, I get the feeling that when we play tomorrow night, we'll probably have a lot of fun in the Dark Zone. That sounds like something that if you got a full team could
if
really.
If you have a team, yeah, because I was like getting wrecked by the team that like was on my map as red, or that are your enemies, or I still don't understand how that all works, but
I'm calling it now.
I'm excited to get into it.
Steve is gonna turn on one of us. I know he is. He's gonna go rogue because he's the quiet one, and he always keeps his fucking mouth shut. And I know it's gonna, and he's gonna turn on me too because he's the one who knows me in real life. So
I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But hey, Doc, a question real quick. What are you playing it on? Are you playing it on Steam? Are you playing it on PS4, Xbox One?
I have it on Steam.
Okay, I was hoping maybe you could join us, but you're a PC elitist, it seems. So forget you. Don't worry about it.
I play basically
we don't
everything.
discriminate here.
I like third-person shooters better with a controller.
You like third-person shooters better than anything.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually curious about trying
trophies.
my new Steam controller with the Division. I'm really curious
Nice.
what that's gonna be like.
Ooh.
Nice, that will be nice, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about the Division. I just didn't know this.
Please.
How big are parties in this game?
Ooh, good question.
I don't know.
I think they're 4. I read that 4 is the max.
We'll find out tomorrow.
I would expect 4.
I don't think you'll find out anything tomorrow. I think the servers are going to shit the bed.
Yeah.
That would not.
I don't think anyone's playing tomorrow.
That would. Oh darn! I'll have to go back to the Witness. Oh no. But no, that would.
Let's talk about the Witness.
Actually, yes, I do want to talk about the Witness. I'm glad that came up. So, as everybody knows, Jonathan Blow's The Witness came out today. And if you paid the $30 season pass, you got a bottle of his piss sent directly to your doorstep.
Yeah, I'm thinking you like the game because I can see a bottle of urine behind you.
Yeah, I know, right? What do you think?
Jonathan Blow loot crate.
What do you think I'm drinking right now? But I'll tell you what. I was a huge fan of Myst back in the day. Like, as frustrating as that game was, I fucking loved Myst. And so playing The Witness is really giving me a sense of deja vu. And I'll give my impressions of the game first. I don't know how. I know JT has played it and Jeff has played it, and I've seen Brandon on PSN played it. I know Gabe has played it, so we'll all go in order here. I'll be quick. One, the game is fucking gorgeous. I mean, god damn, this is a good looking game. I find myself just kind of walking around the island between puzzles, just looking at everything, and I rarely do that anymore in open world games. Like, open world games to me are feeling more and more. It's more of a chore to me. You know, I tend to start going from point A to point B. I'm like, all right, let's get through this. Fucking move on to the next mission.
This is a very special game. It's not a game that you want to get through quickly.
It is. No, I'm actually very purpose. Like, I want to do nothing but play The Witness right now. Like, I'm literally less excited about the Division beta because it'll take away from playing The Witness.
Yep.
But I also want to pace myself because this is one of those experiences. Like, I will platinum this game. I don't care what it takes. I will make it all.
Rough, man.
I don't even give a shit. I'm going to platinum this game. I'm going to do it. I'm going to platinum this game
without guides.
Without guides because I'm smart like that.
Yeah, good luck with that.
And no, dude, I can do this.
I got this. Do it. The challenge
would be one of those games that.
This is less likely than
now people are still finding shit.
I not only will I do it, you have my solemn oath that I will not use a guide. I will not use a guide when I do it. It might take me 2 years to do it, but I'm going to do it.
I don't want to do it.
But so to me, just like I have not had that sense of exploration and wonder in a game in a long time.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is that aside from puzzles, there's nothing else in the game to do. It's just puzzles. But I just want to go around and see everything, and I am fascinated about what the possible story behind the game is. You know, because there's these audio tapes that are laying around, and it's just quotes from famous people throughout history.
Cryptic.
It's cryptic, and I have no idea what any of it means, but it's just beautiful, and I hope this all comes together in some really epic way at the very end. I hope there's some huge revelation.
I've heard people say it kind of does,
and that's great. You know, and obviously, like, there is very clearly to me. You guys tell me if you've seen the same thing. There's very clearly to me a religious undertone to the game.
That's obvious.
It is. After within the first hour, I was like,
within the first half hour.
Yeah, it's very clear what's happening. But I'll tell you what, I'll close it off here and I'll pass it off to somebody else. But man, like, this to me, and I was talking to Steve on the phone earlier. This to me is my first true contender for Game of the Year 2016. Period.
Again, like what? I mean, yeah, sure.
I mean, you know, but I know. But what I'm saying is that this is the first. This will be the first game in that list.
It's one that you promise you won't forget about in 11 more months.
Exactly. No, I will not forget about this game. And then that's the reason that I want to go through the whole thing, because as much as I love it and as much as I adore it, I will only play it once. This is one of those games I just want to experience. It's an experience I want to have once, and after that, it's, you know, I'm good. But
so you need a second playthrough for your platinum.
No, I don't. Hell no. And if that's the case, I will not get the platinum. But I've heard that is not the case.
They're all hidden trophies. I don't even know what they are.
So, which is something else I love, by the way. Jonathan Blow he did a masterful job hiding everything. But anyway, somebody else go on and tell us what you think about The Witness so far. I've talked enough.
I'll go. I don't play a lot of puzzle games. Like, I don't dislike them, but I didn't really play Myst back in the day. I played a couple of Telltale games before they went to, like, what they are now, but it's the most rewarding thing I've done in a while. Like, I can't believe when I look at the puzzles after I solve them, like, how the fuck did I ever figure that out? But it's designed in a way that you just learn what to do without it telling you what to do. And I don't remember last time I played something like that.
I haven't played anything like that. It's genius. The design of it. You get to somewhere where you think, I have no idea what to do here, and then you go to a different part of the island and you learn. It's not just telling you what to do, but it teaches you what to do. And then you go back to that place and you're like, wow, I know what to do now.
You have these revelations. Like, I know shit was at work. There was I won't say how I solved it, obviously, but there was this puzzle I was working on for like 2 fucking hours the night before, and I was frustrated. I didn't want to, and I hated ending the night on that. I was like, fuck, I'm not gonna figure this out. And I went to bed all angry, and I was at work doing nothing but thinking about The Witness, because that's how my brain works. And about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was like, holy shit. And I came home, and I was like, I have an idea. And I came home, and within 5 minutes I had solved it, and it was just the most rewarding feeling I've had in game. I have not had that kind of feeling since the first time I beat Ornstein and Smoke in Dark Souls.
Yeah, I mean, so I've only solved 50 panels, which is, you know, so pretty early on. I played the game for maybe an hour and a half, if that. And I was having those moments already, like within the first hour and a half, before the puzzles even get complicated. Like, I was still having those moments. It's like The Witness might be the best example of tutorialization I've ever seen in a game.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yes.
Like, ever.
That's a great point.
Like,
it's funny you bring up Dark Souls. Like, I don't want to make the Dark Souls comparison, but it's kind of similar in the sense that it feels tough but fair. Like, it feels like you genuinely have a shot to learn and do what you need to do.
Well, I think that also applies because it's in Dark Souls, you have to go through and you have to learn how to get through things and what to do in different situations. So I could kind of see where you could draw parallels there. Yeah.
Well, here's the biggest difference. You know, the other day I called this, like, to myself. I was like, "This is the fucking Dark Souls of puzzles games," and I was like, "Yeah, but
you did not. No, please tell me.
No,
stop, please.
But it's really not. Well, no. Let me finish.
It needs Souls combat.
How many times have you died?
Let me finish. Let me fucking finish. Shut your mouth and let me finish.
I couldn't let that one pass.
So what I'm saying is this. I realized that I was wrong, because Dark Souls is constantly telling you that you can't do it. Like, hey, You can't do it. You can't beat this boss. You can't clear this castle. You can't fucking do it. Your job is to prove the game wrong, right? The Witness, I can almost hear Jonathan Blow saying, "You can do it. You can do it," and I've given you the tools.
I just hear him saying, "You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass."
I don't hear that at all, man. I mean, from my experience, from what I've seen, the answer to almost every puzzle is right there.
I think what I think it really is Jonathan Blow saying, "Look how smart you don't even know that you can be."
Something like that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Doc, have you played The Witness at all?
No, I can't afford it.
Okay. Dude, it's fucking great. Like if you do get the chance to play it, man, what a fucking great game, dude.
How does it compare to the Talos Principle?
That's a good question. I haven't played that. I've been dying to play that. That's the one where you're an android, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Has anybody?
That's the one that came from the Serious Sam guys, right?
Yeah.
It's one of the. Currently it is the best puzzle game I have ever played. Like it shits on Portal from a great height.
That's a bold. I don't ever tell my wife that.
I've seen a lot of comparisons, and I haven't seen anyone saying that it doesn't live up to that, or saying that Talos Principle did this better. It seems that a lot of people are finding it equally satisfying, for what it's worth. Yeah, I haven't played it either.
You know, a point I want to make about The Witness is that there were a lot of people, and we all saw this. There were a lot of people complaining on social media about the fact that it was $40 and it was an indie game. You know, everybody saw that. I would have happily paid $60 for this game.
Absolutely, that is a total non-issue.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what's the price for like a 9.5 or 10 out of 10 kind of game?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, how do you quantify what justifies a price and what doesn't? I mean, somebody on Twitter said, "Oh, fuck it, I'm not paying $40 for this shit," and his avatar was Galahad from The Order, and I was like.
Yeah.
And I was like, hold on. I was like, wait a minute. You're bitching about $40 for a game with 80 hours of gameplay, and you paid $60 for a game with 4 hours of gameplay.
The Witness is beautiful too. I mean, for as gorgeous as The Order is, I think The Witness has every equal ability to impress you just as much.
It's a AAA indie game.
Visual standpoint. Yeah, he put his entire budget that he made, or his entire revenue that he made from Braid plus outside revenue.
Yeah.
One of the things that blew my mind, or that continues to blow my mind, is whenever I started the game, I wanted to stick to the specific areas and get one done first and then move on, so that I'm not like spoiling myself for the rest of them. Because I started out in the tutorial area and then went on to what I thought was the path that he wanted you to take, or that you're supposed to do it in. And so I did that, and then you get to a point where you can't progress because you don't know what to do, and then you have to go to a different part of the island. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stick around and go partially in segments. I wanted to get one done, then move on. But that's part of the genius of it, is that as you go around the island and things start to unlock more, and there's such attention to detail about the layout, about the things that unlock and just make you smile, and it's just like, wow, that the foresight in that is incredible. It's just an intangible part of the game that I have not seen in any other game. It's just mind-blowing in some parts.
How long?
The layout.
When was this game announced? Like, how long has he been working on this?
As soon as Braid was finished.
10 years, right?
Yeah, no, 8 years.
Since 2009.
Wasn't it first announced at that PS4 reveal, or was
something like that, right? Like, it was announced as an indie title back.
But yeah, he'd been working on it for way longer, obviously.
Yeah, he started working on it, but he didn't announce it until 2009. Yeah.
I mean, everybody was wondering for the longest time, well, where's the Witness? Where's the Witness? Where's the Witness? This is proof in the pudding that, it doesn't, just don't release your games until you know they're done.
In Indie Game the Movie, it said that the game was going to come out in 2012. I mean, yeah, that's how
we were so young and foolish back then.
I'm totally okay with it being released how it was.
Yeah, so. No, this is. I mean, to me, it's there's something. you know, this is going to sound dumb, but walking around that island, there's something almost reverential about the way everything's been crafted. You know, there's a purpose and a meaning behind everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can you notice that within the first 15 minutes of playing it.
Yeah, I mean, there was literally no blade of grass or shadow cast on that island that has been
like you can pan the camera in any direction, and every single spot is like you're just holy shit! I can't believe how much detail and how
it all matters. Everything matters.
Yeah, it all matters.
Yeah.
Like, the pathways are perfect. They're interesting. You're like, I want to go this way, but I feel like going this way. You're fighting with yourself. Like both areas look cool. Which is the cooler area? It's
an
awesome game.
And you know, to anybody listening who has not played it, you know, obviously without saying spoilers, when you do play it, and hopefully you do, all I'll say is take everything in. Take your time to walk around the island before you start looking at puzzles, because everything in that island, there's a meaning and a story behind everything on that island. And I honestly, I'm right with you guys. I have never quite experienced anything like it before. And it's a beautiful game, and I'm really actually like thankful to Jonathan Blow for making it, because I have not had to think. I mean, shit, I broke out fucking pen and paper, and I'm writing puzzles down. I have not done that since drawing maps for Metroid.
NES. Yeah, back in the NES days. That's the last time I remember drawing.
And I was doing it last night. I just had such. My wife's a big gamer like me. She's upstairs right now playing. She's been playing The Witness for 4 hours straight now.
That's awesome.
I mean, she brought her PlayStation. Not yet, but she's gonna bring her PlayStation down this weekend, and we're gonna play together and just sit there and solve puzzles together. And it's just, man, like I said, this game is the reason that I am less hyped about the Division beta, because in the back of my mind I'm gonna be thinking I cannot wait to get back to The Witness.
I've gone to bed every night since that game was released thinking about a puzzle.
Yeah,
that I couldn't solve.
It's like when you play too much Guitar Hero and you see like all the colored lands.
Oh, Steve can talk to you all day about that. Steve knows.
Yeah, exactly.
Steve knows about that.
You close your eyes and you just see fucking lion puzzles.
So I wanted to kind of close out today. Doc is a kind of a special guest of ours because he's the first guest we've had who's actually been on the journalism side, in the games industry, and you know he's got some experience on the dev side as well. And so I kind of wanted to open up to our people in chat, Doc, if you don't mind, if anybody's got any questions for Doc, if you don't mind answering them.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind.
So everybody in chat, follow Flunky's lead and throw out some questions for Doc here. And while we're waiting for a question, I want to answer a question that we had on Twitter from at MP1990Gaff. Some of you probably know this person. MP1990Gaff asks, "How is Mr. Megadeth so cute when he shaves?" Well, I'll tell you. I'm gonna give you my secret right now. Okay, so. First, in the morning, if my face is feeling a little puffy, I'll put on an ice pack while doing stomach crunches, which I can do over 1,000 now. After I take the ice pack off, I use a deep pore cleanser lotion. In the shower, I use a water-activated gel cleanser, then a honey almond body scrub, and on the face, an exfoliating gel scrub, and then I apply an herb mint facial mask, which I leave on for 10 minutes while I prepare for the rest of my routine. Hold on, I'm trying to explain how this happens. And then I always use an aftershave lotion with little or no alcohol, because alcohol makes you look old, right? Then moisturizer, then an anti-aging eye balm, followed by final moisturizing protective lotion, okay? There is an idea of a Mr. Megadeth, some kind of abstraction, but there's no real me, okay? Only an entity.
That was surprisingly detailed.
Yeah, have a sip of your drink. That baby face.
Have none of you guys ever seen American Psycho?
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I was waiting for somebody to fucking call me out on that.
I did call you out on it.
You said it right away.
We've actually got a question from Flunky in chat. Tom, what makes the Stalker series great for you?
That is a good question.
I mean, I already know the answer, but
I'm a little bit weird because I'm unlike all of the other Stalker fans. My favorite game is actually Clear Sky, which is the second game in the series, sort of the redheaded middle child. Nobody likes it because you fail all the time. Like, in most games, we're kind of taught that we can succeed at everything we do. We get a quest, we go, and we beat our heads against the wall until we succeed. Like, I don't know. I mean, in Bloodborne, which I was playing recently, you just fight a boss like 1,000 times, and eventually you'll kill him. In Clear Sky, you can't do that. You fail all the time, and there's nothing you can do about it. Someone will broadcast on the radio and say, I need help, and you'll rush over there, but he'll be dead by the time you get there, and there's nothing you can do. The entire world is alive, and it's also very sinister. It's kind of malicious. It hates you. It wants to kill you. So you're in this place that is completely hostile, and you start doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you sort of learn the space. You kind of learn how this world works, but because the AI is so dynamic, nothing is ever the same. Everything is always changing.
It's a true survival sim.
Yeah, it's probably the best survival game I've ever played.
Even more than like a survival horror game.
Because
it seems like it transcends typical survival horror.
It's a game where you kind of learn the rules, like, of how to play. You become a stalker. You actually kind of become an expert at existing in this space, which I've never had a game do before. And then at the same time, you're always failing. There's always bad things happening that you can't do anything about. Sometimes you just hear gunshots. You'll run over there, and everyone will be dead. But sometimes, maybe there's a guy on the ground bleeding out, and he's going to die. You give him some first aid, and he becomes your friend. And so, now he's less likely to hurt you, basically. So the game world is always alive, and it's much less gamified than a lot of games are. I can just kind of drop into that world and go. And I always felt Clear Sky was the best at that. Color Pripyat, which is the one that everybody really likes, is the most gamified, which is why everybody likes it, is because it feels the most like an actual video game. So it's very easy to get into, but as a result, it's much more rigid. It doesn't feel as alive. It feels very stiff to me, so I have a harder time enjoying it, although I get why people like it.
So it's more like a BioShock to a System Shock 2?
Yeah, kind of. That'd be a good comparison. I mean, it's the series that saved my life, right? Like, I wrote about this a while ago, which is basically...
That's why I asked about it.
I'm still very, very sick. I'm going to the hospital tomorrow, and then I'm going to the doctor again on Monday. Like, I have a very crappy life. It's why I can't buy The Witness, is because I'm spending $500 on medical stuff this month. I'm trying to figure out how to put this. Basically, I had to do a lot of things to stay alive, and it was very, very, very hard to do. Fighting to stay alive is a challenging process when your body is shutting down and you have, no motivation, no energy, no strength, nothing. And I was taking, 16 to 30 pills a day at that point just to kind of function. And I wanted to give up, and then there I am playing Stalker, and I'm losing an awful lot. But something about kind of existing in this hostile space where everything is going wrong and kind of overcoming regardless, something about being defiant in the face of all the horrible things that are going on in the Stalker universe, kind of clicked with me. And as I started sort of getting this survival mindset in the game, that kind of started feeding into my mindset in real life. Kind of the way you play so much Tetris that you start thinking about how to arrange things in your house. It was that kind of bleed over into stuff that just kind of got me kind of pumped and wanting to fight again. And so I did. And, as a result, I was at a point where doctors were telling me, you should not have been able to get out of bed today. And I did it. I am really kind of surprised by that. But one doctor said something like, looking at your charts, you should be dead right now. I was like, well, I have no interest in that. So I just kind of, punched my way back into life, and I've gotten better, but I'm kind of in that sticky situation where it's like I need to earn enough money to pay for proper medical care, to heal enough to get a job that lets me earn the money to pay for the medical care, which it's a weird cycle. So I owe a lot to Stalker, I think. That's why I love the series. Sorry, that was a long explanation.
Dude, no, that might be like the most meaningful story I've ever heard.
That was pretty fucking cool.
Wow. Damn, dude. I'm just trying to digest that. I'm just trying to digest that.
Yes, I'm hyped for Digimon 2, by the way. Just notice that comment.
Wow. Hey, first of all, Doc, seriously, thanks for sharing that, man.
Oh, no problem.
That's awesome, dude. And you're a strong motherfucker, man. Seriously, we're all, yeah. I'm just blown away.
I'd just like to say too, I support Doc on Patreon to all of his writing and his freelancing and stuff. I really enjoy reading what you write, Doc.
Conflict of interest. Shut the podcast down.
Shut it down. We're done. Thanks a lot, JT.
this kind of corporate bias bullshit.
Thanks a lot. God damn it. But I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what though. I was not aware that you had a Patreon, but I will be pledging my support as soon as we're done here.
Yeah, people keep asking me when I'm gonna write about Half-Life 2. So I jokingly put because I just
when Half-Life 3 comes out.
I know.
No, I said that once I get $2,000 a month on Patreon, I will actually write the Half-Life 2 book. It's gonna be a book. It's that big. Because everybody who knows me knows that I don't like Half-Life 2, but I also don't really want to force myself to play the game for like an 8th time just to write about it until like I can really justify that. So I'm doing that. I do have a new piece for the Patreon folks coming out this week. Hopefully, maybe next week.
I'm going to be subscribing tonight.
Dragon Age Inquisition. So.
Ooh, that'd be a good one, dude.
Cool.
Yeah, but Flamethrower article on Kotaku Saturday, and then it'll get reposted here on Monday. So
nice.
So we actually have a question for you, Doc, from Chris Reyes in chat. What do you think about VR, specifically PSVR? What are your thoughts?
I feel like PSVR is going to have to be kind of cheap, and as a result, it probably won't be that good. I'm personally more excited in the Vive, although I have nowhere to set one up because I have no room in my apartment. So for me, I mean, I really want to play a lot of space dogfighting games. That's where I'm at with VR. I mean, a lot of my personal interest in video games has to do with virtual reality as like the systems of virtual reality, not necessarily the goggles, but the way the game world works. So that's why I like Bethesda games or Arcane games, stuff like that, is because it's Stalker, is because the heavy simulation elements. So I'm kind of on the software side of VR stuff. Eventually, I want to make things that actually take advantage of VR, but I mean, I haven't actually got to try any yet. But I don't know if PSVR is going to do very well. I'm worried that it's going to end up being like the weird little lollipop controller they had.
Oh yeah, the glowing dildos.
Yes, I kind of think the adopters for VR are going to be mostly on the PC. I think that's where it's really going to flourish, because it benefits best from simulation games.
Whatever platform lets you most easily fuck cartoon characters.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So
quickly.
We've actually got another question from Shani Machiavelli. What are the chances of No Man's Sky getting VR support? I think it's 100% personally, but Doc, why don't you go and take it?
I'm pretty sure it's 100%. Like, it may not be right away, but it will definitely be there.
I would actually say that I would posit that is probably going to be a VR launch title. I can absolutely see that. I could see that being like a VR killer app kind of deal. But
it got delayed, right? Because of they were still working out like the technical stuff.
I think I
think that was due to trying to fit it into VR.
Yeah, that's exactly.
If it's not VR, it's a huge missed opportunity.
Look how long ago they announced it, right? I'm sure they probably intended on releasing it sooner, and then as VR started to come together, they're like, "Oh shit, this makes perfect sense."
It was announced. It was 2013, right? Like December of 2013.
Something like that, yeah.
It was around that time. At the Keeleys.
Yeah.
So somebody in Twitter or somebody in chat just pointed out, Jonathan Blow says on Twitter that The Witness is #1 on torrent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, until Tomb Raider gets cracked, and then.
Yeah. Exactly.
It is kind of the biggest new game, so that makes sense.
Yes, it's the biggest new game. Yeah.
Apparently, the Hello Games guys have some Oculus Rift headsets, but it's definitely not coming to Morpheus, or whatever it's called now, PSVR.
PSVR.
The headline was that old for it not coming to PSVR. So.
I believe that. Yeah.
So real quick before we wrap up, unless anybody in the chat room has any other questions for Doc, ask them while I'm reading this off. Or just real quick, I want to go over the PS Plus free games for February and the Xbox Live games for Gold. If you don't have any of these, if you're interested, go check them out. For PSN, you have Grid Autosport for PS3, Helldivers, Democracy Strikes Back for PS4, PS3, and PS Vita. And if you have not played Helldivers, it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. Lemmings Touch for PS Vita, Nom Nom Galaxy for PS4, Nova 111 for PS Vita, I have no idea what that is, and Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. Go buy that shit on PS3 right now. And then Xbox Live games for Gold, Hand of Fate, Styx Master of Shadows, which is garbage on PSN. I'm assuming it'd be garbage on Xbox Live. Sacred Citadel for 360 and Gears of War 2 for 360. So go check those out if anybody cares about those games.
Crypt of the Necrodancer on Tuesday.
Oh yeah, good call, dude. Yeah, I'm actually
Perfect
interested in that.
game to buy on Vita.
Yep, my Vita needs some more games. As soon as I'm done with Taco Master, playing that motherfucker. I know, dude. I'm a trophy guy, man. From what I hear, it's an easy platinum. So I'll make some tacos for platinum trophies, dude. I'm cool with that. JT,
44 people are playing nearby.
JT has been playing his Vita the entire time. That's why he's been so absent mentally. But I'm just kidding. But so does anybody? So if nobody in chat has any more questions for Doc, Doc, I tell you what, buddy, I want to thank you for joining us tonight, man. And also for sharing that amazing story. That was, in my opinion, kind of the highlight of the podcast tonight. And you're welcome back here anytime, man. You've just been a real joy to have on, and we appreciate that.
Oh, man, no problem.
So if nobody else has anything, don't forget. So tomorrow, most of us will be live streaming the Division beta. And probably arguing with each other along the way, but that's fine. That's kind of par for the course.
Who will betray who first? Tune in live tomorrow.
Don't ever interrupt me again. Don't do that, because if it happens again, you're fucking done. Okay? You'll notice I kicked Gabe out of the podcast for looking smug, and I'll do the same for you. No, actually, no. Gabe sent me a message on Twitter. His laptop died, so. I'm not buying you a new one, Gabe. So yeah, join us tomorrow. We'll be throwing out the link on Twitter. You can ride along with us and ask us questions about what we think. We'll probably be playing for a good long while. I think all 5 or 6 of us, all 6 of us should be there, so it'll be a good time. And don't forget to catch us once again next week on Thursday at 8 p.m. We will be having Mike Mullis of the Next Level Gaming podcast on with us. He's a good friend. I've been on there a few times. And we're going to return the favor and have him on to join us. So without any further ado, thanks to everybody in chat for following along, and everybody who's been viewing us and supporting us. We really appreciate that. And as always, it may not always be poetry, and we may not always agree with each other. In fact, we almost fucking never agree with each other. But we always keep it real. So until next week, guys, or actually until tomorrow, keep it real.